Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Joffy Noodle Legs here today in my front room, and we've got another noodle film review for you. In fact, a whole week of this. Today we are looking at Critters, number one, the first Critters film we're going to look at today. Now, Critters is a film made by New Line Pictures. It's a very 80s sort of horror monster sort of flick, and it's awesome. The film sort of starts off with a family. We got like this normal kind of family, and the mother of the family is played by Dee Wallace, who you may well know from various films. She was in E.T., she was in The Howling, she was in Cujo, and she's in this. She's in loads of films in the 80s. And yeah, and her and her family are like a normal sort of American sort of family. We got the father, we got the mother, we got the son, and we got the daughter and the boyfriend, and all that kind of good stuff going on. Anyway, so we get quite a bit of the breakfast table, having a bit of jibber jabber about all kinds of sort of stuff. And I think they live on this sort of like farm, and the farm, and the dad's sort of like trying to ask the son to, behave himself at school and help out on the farm. And the daughter's going on about her boyfriend. You know how these sort of 80s sort of films sort of roll. It's all very sort of similar to those kind of things. We then cut to like a police station where we meet our police officer, who I can't remember his name, but I've seen him in so many films. And we see him there, and he's talking to the woman that works there, and she's like, it again looks very very 80s. And he goes to the jail cell where they got a guy there. He's not in prison for nothing. I think he just sleeps there, or whatever. But he's a bit of the local sort of nutter, if you like. And he's talking about aliens coming to Earth, and so uh, and so we see sort of shots of like up in space, where we see this kind of almost Star Wars looking like guy, um, and in this sort of like, it's like a prison in space, and he's like the guy that owns the prison, and these little critters have escaped, and they've stolen a spaceship, and they now shooting off towards escaping the prison. Anyway, we see this weird looking guy, and he's got these couple of bounty hunters, which again look really strange, and he wants them to go out and hunt down these critters. He says, that you just got to make sure that they haven't got any weapons or nothing with them, but you got to make sure you get hold of them before they eat. Anyway, so these two bounty hunters go off on their way, looking for these critters on their spaceship. Meanwhile, back with the family, back on Earth, we see a very young Billy Zane. I think must be his first film role, and he's turned up, and he's the boyfriend of the daughter. So he's turned up, and that in the car, and the young lad of the family is with like the farmhand, and they're sort of like working on this sort of like first of all they do this sort of like with fireworks, they do this massive explosion, and the father comes out to see what's going on. And then the car arrives with his daughter and Billy Zane, her boyfriend, and they start talking about the car, and the farmhand has got the young lad shot, sort of like slingshot, trying to fix it, and he fires at this can and misses, and hits his sister. It's the young boy's sister on the bum, and she starts chasing him around the farm. Anyway, he then gets the young lad gets blamed for it. So, no, you shot me on the ass and all this sort of thing. And he knows that the farmhand's a little bit simple, suppose would be the right word. He doesn't want him to get in trouble with his dad, so he takes the blame. Said, yeah, I shot it. So he gets sent to his room, and he goes up to his room, and he starts playing this old sort of cassette and you see all the 80s posters on the wall, like the bands like Bruce Springsteen and the Police. It's typical 80s sort of film. Anyway, he's up there because he's been told to stay in his room, and the young girl and Billy Zane, who have just been having dinner with the mother and the father, decide to go off, and she sort of takes him to the barn, to, you know, because she wants to sort of like have that sort of romantic time with him. So they go off to the barn, and the young lad, he's still in his room, because he's in trouble. And we then jump back to space, and we see sort of like our sort of spaceship heading towards Earth. Obviously there's one with the critters in, and there's one with the bounty hunters, and they're sort of heading off towards Earth. And as they do, we join our local nutcase that was in the jail cycling down the road, and he's cycling down the road on the bike, and then the spaceship sort of goes over his head, and he sort of like gets a bit freaked out by it. And so what he said is true, they are coming. So anyway, we cut back to the house, and the young lad's climbed out of his window and is on the roof. And he's sort of like sneaking around on the roof. I don't know why, but he's on the roof. And his dad can sort of like hear something creeping around on the roof too. So he goes to have a look outside the window, and the son hides behind sort of like the dad's sort of like area. And the dad and the son both see like this meteorite sort of thing hitting the earth. Okay, so I wonder what that is. And then there's like a little mini earthquake going on, and the girl, she's in the barn with the boyfriend kissing and stuff, and she goes, "Oh, the earth moved," and he goes, "Oh, thank you." He thinks it was him. I've got a little puppy here. Look, here he is. Hello, darling. Hello, mate. I know, Daddy waffling. And so the father decides to go out and investigate what this meteorite was and what this tremor was. So he goes off out to see what it is. So what is it? Because that's all I'm going to tell you. So there's a lot going on. So there's these little creatures that have escaped this prison in space, and they're heading towards Earth, and there's a couple of bounty hunters after them. The bounty hunters have been watching films about Earth and about the sort of life and stuff like that, and they sort of like change their appearance to fit in with the Earthlings. And one of them's been watching videos of this singer called Johnny Still on the TV, and he's sort of like, his face is all changed to look like Johnny Still, so that's quite strange. But it's so 80s, it's unreal, this film. So we've got all this heading towards Earth, we've got this little family going on, and now they've been interrupted by this meteorite. So are the family going to come across whatever it is that's landed? Are these critters, which obviously look like your little gremlin sort of things, are they going to cause havoc on the family and the town and Earth? Are the bounty hunters going to catch up with them? You need to watch it and find out. What do I think of Critters? It's a hoot. That's all I can say. It's a typical 80s monster comedy horror, and it's a really cool film. Really, really good. Absolutely love Critters. I think it's really underrated when it comes, because it came out with on the back of Gremlins, I suppose, but it actually, when you read about stuff, Critters was actually written and was ready before Gremlins, but no studio touched it or didn't want it. But then Gremlins come out, and then all the students thought, oh, what was that story that we saw called Critters? So then it came out after that, but although it was actually written before Gremlins. And there was other sort of films that came out like that sort of time, like Trolls and the Ghoulies and stuff like this. So there's so many sort of like these sort of like monster flicks, so it's easy to get lost. And I think Critters is underrated because it does have quite a strong horror element into it, and it's really cool. So the pluses are that this is a DVD set produced by the Warner Brothers. The transfer's good. It's not amazing, but it's good. It is like a DVD transfer, but it's still really enjoyable and cool. It's very, very 80s, which is awesome. Great cast. Like I said, we've got Dee Wallace in there. We've got a young Billy Zane in his first film, and some other sort of like quite well-known faces I can't put names to. The story's cracking. It's a great story. It's it's typical, no different to Men in Black, no different to Superman or whatever. It's meteorite landing on Earth, and it's all kind of very, very similar. But that's great. It's very, very, very 80s. It's got 80s music, 80s style, everything, and it's awesome because I love that. Absolutely brilliant. Negatives of the film: it is quite slow to get going. Nothing really sort of gets going for the first half an hour, and then sort of stuff starts getting going a bit crazy, which is cool. But that's the only negative. It's a little bit slow. So I'm going to score the film an excellent watch and give it an 8 out of 10. So I think that's a fair score for Critters. A really good film. Very, very 80s. If you love 80s films, you've got to watch Critters. Critters 1, definitely, because I think it came out about 86, something like that, in the middle sort of part of the 80s. So it's very, very 80s. And it's excellent. Really, really cool. I really love Critters. 8 out of 10. Any of you guys seen it? If you have, let me know down below what you thought of it. I think it's a really cool, underrated sort of monster comedy film, and it's really, really cool. And I do like the Critters. I think they look amazing. When I went to HorrorCon, I saw some really cool sort of like Critters there, and I'd love to pick one up, but I just didn't get around to it because like I seen it was quite a busy day, and I didn't get around to picking one up. But I'd love to have got a Critter. That'd have been so cool. But there we go, guys. That's the first one. I'm going to be looking at some more Critter films this week, so probably number 2, and I think I'm going to look at either number 3 or number 4. This one does contain all 4 of them, which is really cool. There is a reboot one out, which I've not seen yet. There was a reboot one that's been out a few years ago, but I don't own that yet. But that's quite cool. But I will be looking at some more of these during the week. Until then, check out some other horror channels for me. Check out the Horror Hands, Horror Geek, Man v Film, RS Designs, Pizzlewell, I Am the Ice Lord, Grumpy Andrew's Haunted House, Sarah of Horror, and Cat Watches Horror Movies. And a massive shout out to the lad. Till next time, look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I see you all soon.